shoot anybody.
You almost shot me. Don't play with me now.
The film opens with Robert Roth, who works for a secret service and is known as the #1 assassin in the world. He has taken one of his recent targets to a remote forest, and while it is drizzling, he gives him a gun with one bullet to kill himself. The man who has no choice and has reached the end of the line while crying is forced to kill himself. It is clear from Robert's face that he is upset about his job. Robert returns to his house. He is devastated and sad. He cleans his gun and looks out the window. He plans to retire, haunted by the memory of the murder of his best friend Nikolai. 15 years ago, Nikolai comes out of the bank after receiving a large amount of money, and Robert kills him from a distance with a sniper. After that, Robert checks his laptop to contact his contractor, and after ensuring the target is destroyed, Robert lies that he is sick because he can no longer bear this boring life and wants to retire. The contractor does not accept his claim and assigns him to another case. Moments later, the printer prints the photos of the man Robert should kill. According to reporters, Robert's next target is a man who will attend his brother's funeral after 10 years. Despite 2 of his bodyguards keeping a close eye on the man, Robert pretends his right arm is broken, clearly hiding a weapon underneath. While everyone is praying for the dead, another suspicious person named Miguel Bean, who is a little far from them, seems to be planning to assassinate someone. To his surprise, he shoots and kills Robert's target. Robert is shocked and chaos ensues, but the guards don't realize who killed him. Focusing on his surroundings, Robert sees Miguel, immediately runs towards him and starts shooting. During the exchange of fire, Miguel kills some guards, and the police arrive on the other side and force him to surrender. While taking him to the police station, Robert and Miguel are face-to-face for a second, and then Robert decides to follow him. He also listens to the police conversations about Miguel's condition on a two-way radio. Miguel cleverly breaks his finger and frees one of his hands by twisting it. He manages to overpower the police officers, and after the accident and the vehicle crashes, he jumps out, changes his clothes, opens his handcuffs, and runs away. Robert arrives at the scene with a little delay and realizes that Miguel killed the policeman and ran away. Then, in a plan, he hits a taxi from behind, pays the damage to the driver, and takes his taxi after knocking him out. When he realizes that the cops found out about Miguel's presence at a restaurant, he stops the taxi until he gets in the car and tells him to take him to the airport. Minutes later, Miguel realizes that the taxi is not going to the airport, so he shouts angrily and asks Robert to do his job. Instead, Robert stops next to a small stadium where kids play football and asks him to get out of the car. At that moment, Miguel realizes that he is not the taxi driver, but that he is Robert Roth, the famous assassin. The glass of the taxi is bulletproof, so Miguel knows that if he leaves the taxi, he will be killed instantly by him. Robert shows his anger that he stole his contract, but Miguel threatens him to drive, or he will shoot one of the kids in the compound. Robert, who doesn't want a kid to get hurt, complies with his request. Instead, he shoots the glass and says something to make Robert angry. He introduces himself as a fellow assassin and a competitive sociopath. He is also a special fan of Robert, but plans to kill him to officially become the world's #1 assassin. Moments later, Miguel breaks the window on his side to escape, but Robert tries to stop him while the police identify and chase them. This chase situation forces Miguel to sit down, but he throws himself out of the taxi at the first opportunity. The police are especially chasing Robert's taxi, and they pressure him to stop, but he is smart. Therefore, by stopping at a taxi station and being among a large number of taxis, he confuses the police forces, which causes them to lose him. Eventually, Robert takes a taxi to a hotel. Robert asks his contractor about Miguel, and it is typed on the laptop, indicating that this name is unfamiliar. The contractor sends Robert another profile that once it's done, Robert gets $2 million and retires. So Robert is tempted to take it as his last deal. He must kill a notorious computer hacker named Electra and 4 Dutch buyers of a computer disk she possesses, then retrieve the disk. Electra is an independent girl who has been living alone for many years, and her only dependence is on her cat. She has set up CCTV cameras and an elaborate mechanism for remotely moving items between rooms in the building where she is based. At the airport, buyers call her and make an appointment with her to pick up the disc at the Marriott Hotel for $40,000. While chasing the buyers, Robert mistakenly thinks that Miguel is still chasing him. He enters the hotel behind the buyers, and after losing them while entering the elevator, he decides to use the hotel's computer system to find them. Elektra has set up cameras and a sophisticated mechanism to move items remotely between hotel rooms, forcing buyers to transfer money through air-conditioned ducts. After taking the money, she remotely connects to their computer to decrypt the disc contents. Suddenly, Miguel enters and kills the 4 buyers, then tries to trick Elektra into completing the disc transfer process. Still, she finds out and deletes all the data sent. Then she decides to run away quickly, but Robert finds her and grabs the disc. Miguel finds out about their conversation behind the line, and by making Robert angry, he plans to persuade him to kill her. Instead, Robert avoids killing her and shoots the pillow. While Robert and Elektra are leaving the hotel, Miguel arrives late to the room and realizes that he has been tricked. Elektra knows she cannot trust Robert, so she puts him in a difficult situation and tries to run away from him by running towards the bus. She is forced to leave her cat behind, which Robert retrieves. He tracks down Elektra's home by visiting a pet store. Meanwhile, Miguel has found photos in Elektra's hotel room, which he uses to identify her apartment. However, he enters the wrong apartment and is forced to kill her neighbors. At the same time, Elektra watches everything from her apartment through the camera and is shocked. At that moment, Robert enters and makes a deal with her to leave him, and they meet again later. Robert and Miguel fight tough, and Elektra sees her neighbor on the way. Still, she doesn't listen to Elektra's warnings and goes to the apartment. So Elektra decides to return, but it is too late, and her neighbor Jennifer is killed by Miguel. Eventually, Robert opens the gas valve and directs the fire towards him, causing a huge explosion. When he is sure that Miguel has escaped, Robert takes Elektra to the hotel to rest, while she says she still can't believe him. She takes Robert's gun off the table and threatens to kill him, but Robert shows no fear. In anger and confusion, she shoots at the wall to show that Robert thinks wrongly about her. But moments later, Robert calmly approaches her and takes the gun from her. At the same time, the contractor informs Miguel that his contract has been canceled due to failure to obtain the disc. Robert thinks about the future of his work, and meeting her has affected him. She sleeps on the bed while Robert sleeps on the floor. He unexpectedly offers her a job for $1 million and says he will share his idea with her tomorrow. They are supposed to hand over the disc tomorrow morning for $2 million. After taking the money and giving the disc, Robert takes the train to return to Elektra. Surprisingly, the train stops at the top. After realizing he is in danger, Robert skillfully jumps from the height and reaches his partner, but after a minute quickly realizes that the money suitcase also has a bomb in it. He leaves the suitcase in the trash bin in time, and they are saved from death with luck. While Robert was distraught, Elektra revealed that she didn't fully trust Robert, so she gave him a fake disc. After that, Robert realizes that his contractor is seriously trying to kill him, so he offers to hand over the disc to him only in exchange for $20 million. He requests that the money be wired to a certain bank in the Caribbean. Since the disc contains confidential information, the contractor agrees to Robert's terms and immediately hires Miguel to sign the contract. The image of Robert on Miguel's laptop screen shows that the contractor has appointed him to kill Robert. Robert and Elektra go to the bank the day before the money is to be transferred, because Robert is sure the contractor will hire someone to kill him. He identifies an abandoned hotel that he knows Miguel will use for the shooting and plans a trap. He also reveals that the bank, the hotel, and the scheme were all planned specifically because of what Robert knew about. He reveals to Elektra that 15 years ago, he stood in this hotel room all day to kill his best friend and mentor, Nikolai, after accepting a deal he has since regretted. That night at the hotel, while Robert feels very sorry for what happened to his best friend 15 years ago, and expresses his feelings and affection for Elektra, he suddenly notices that she leaves the hotel room and joins the crowd. Elektra accidentally sees Miguel in the crowd and wishes she hadn't left the hotel. Miguel soon realizes that Elektra is nearby, due to the smell of Jasmine and tries to find her. Elektra tries to hide with fear. Suddenly, Robert finds her, and after ensuring Miguel is gone, he takes her safely to their room. The next morning, Robert gives Elektra a gun to use if necessary, then explains that he has never been dependent on anyone in his life, but now he is dependent on her, and he kisses her. Robert goes into the bank to confirm the transfer, closes the account, and according to the plan, makes a waste of time request for the money to be made available to him in cash. This operation may take some hours to complete. Robert waits patiently inside the bank, and at the same time as he predicted, Miguel enters the abandoned building and waits to target him as soon as Robert comes out of the bank. On the other hand, Robert knows that Miguel is in an outside position. After hours of waiting, he becomes crazy and confused. Meanwhile, Elektra is sitting in a public cafe watching Miguel, waiting for him to leave his position as planned. This happens due to the heat and after running out of water. Miguel exits the abandoned building to go to the bank and closely examine Robert. Immediately after he leaves, Elektra runs over to grab Miguel's gun so he can't shoot Robert. However, Miguel is smart and hides the sniper. After a few minutes, Elektra finally finds it, but it is out of reach and she slips and falls while trying to pick it up. At the same time as Elektra tries to get out of the hole she is stuck in, Robert and Miguel meet and each threatens the other.
No more chit-chat. I'm a very, very lucky man.
Eventually, confident that he is inside the bank, Miguel leaves and returns to his position. Elektra manages to get back on her feet, but it's too late, so she hides to avoid Miguel's sight. After receiving the money, Robert leaves the bank. Miguel aims at him with a sniper, but he realizes from Robert's behavior that there is a trick. He detects the scent of Jasmine Elektra in the air. At this moment, she shoots him in the back, but he does not die, and his confusion causes him to fall. Robert quickly runs to the hotel and reaches Elektra before Miguel can harm her. Robert then confronts Miguel in a deadly game of hide-and-seek when Miguel falls several stories after being shot. After Miguel's apparent death, Nikolai unexpectedly appears, and Robert is shocked. He reveals that he was Robert's contractor and arranged his assassination 15 years ago so he could disappear for a while. He reveals that he had a bulletproof vest when he was shot and knew exactly where Robert was going to shoot him. He also reveals that the disc contains information that, if deciphered, will bring him out of the shadows. Hence, he planned to kill Elektra to retrieve the disc before Interpol. Realizing that Nikolai will kill him too, Miguel wakes up, and by giving a signal to Robert, they both start shooting and kill Nikolai. After this union, Miguel pretends to make peace with Robert and let him retire. However, his words are not reliable, and he reveals that he still wants to kill him and become the #1 assassins in the world. He tries to shoot Robert in the back, but Elektra puts on her sunglasses to let Robert see him. Robert shoots Miguel through his jacket and kills him.
Thank you.
Elektra then accepts Robert as her partner and retrieves the money and disc.